Welcome back, travelers. So today for our Day Zero builds, we have Mollymauk Tealeaf, Carnival Hooligan. This looks to be a pretty fun character. Is a 6 hand size 28 health character with Death, Order, and Void. Pretty cool symbol spread. Entertainer, Mighty 9, and Occultist. I've chosen the Death symbol for today, and we'll see why in a little bit. So we have two abilities here on our character. The first is a Tenacious Enhance, so playable while we are committed. Lose 1 health, your weapon attack gets +1 damage and stun 1. So that's pretty good. We use our health as a resource, but we also get damage and stun, which forces our rival to commit foundations on our attacks. And then we have a response once per turn. Reveal up to 2 cards from your hand. After an attack is played, seal 1 rival foundation for each card revealed this way. Your rival may sacrifice 1 face-up foundation to cancel this effect. So, a very powerful ability. Once per turn, we basically give a little bit of information away, but we can turn off up to 2 of our rival's best foundations, either defensive foundations on our turn, or offensive foundations on their turn. Of course, they may cancel that ability by sacrificing 1 of their face-up foundations. So they can't just get rid of a committed face-down in order to get rid of this effect. They can get rid of a committed face-up, but it's still kind of worth it to me. So Mollymauk wants to turn off your rival's abilities while using his health as a resource to gain damage and to gain board control with stun. So let's see what kind of attacks we have here. First, Ensorcelled Slash, a 4/3, 2 low for 5 with a 3 high block, spell and weapon for its keywords. We have Blitz. If there is a sealed card in any stage, yours or your rival's, this attack gains throw. So we can use this, play this attack, show our rival 2 cards, and say, hey, you can either sacrifice a face-up resource, or I get to seal 2 things and make this a throw. And then I can lose a health to give it a damage and give it stun. Pretty cool. It's a pretty neat little tech piece here. It's some guaranteed damage if we can make it a throw, which it kind of nets us free momentum, but also just kind of fits with the seal theme. Next up we have Stinging Blade, which has a very sick alternate art for the pre-release. So go check out your local game stores this weekend as of recording, which means the pre-release, by the time this is released, has probably already happened. But this is a 3 difficulty, 3 control, 1 mid for 4 with a 2 high block, stun 1, spell, and weapon. So while this already has stun 1, you can still lose 1 health to give it an additional stun 1. So it would be not stun 2, but stun 1 twice. You'd have to activate them as separate enhances. Important for my new players to know. But as a response, after this attack is completely blocked, your rival spends 1 momentum and loses 2 health. Thankfully, this cannot reduce your rival below 1 health. I appreciate that little tag there, but this basically says if you're fully blocking this attack, you're technically only half blocking it, unless I've boosted its damage and then you're still losing 2 health, but you're also losing a momentum. So how much do you really want to block this 4 damage move that's usually coming in at the end of a string? Next up we have Heavy Hammer Thump. This is a 6/3, 5 mid for 8 with a 2 mid block, slam, and weapon. As a blitz, we draw 1 card, then we can add 1 card from our hand to the top of our deck. This is a really good way to stack our deck and make sure that our next check is absolutely going to pass. Or if we have a way to draw that card, we can draw that card back. So, pretty cool either way. And 8 damage. Pretty strong. Pretty good opening attack. Make this a 5 mid 9 after losing our 1 health with stun 1. Effectively a 6 speed at that point with 9 damage. That's a great opener. Next we have Backstab, a 5/3, 5 high for 4 with a 2 high block and the weapon keyword. As a blitz, our rival discards 1 card, but they may flip 2 foundations to cancel this ability. So the whole way that they can cancel our seal is to get rid of face-up foundations. So this way we're saying, okay, if I haven't sealed anything yet, do you want to lose a card in your hand or flip 2 resources so that maybe you don't get to stop my sealing on the next card? It really kind of puts that mental math in your rival's head of what resources are more important to them at that given moment. Next we have Biting Dagger, a 4/3, 4 mid for 4 with a 1 mid block. It's got EX3 and Weapon. EX3 is an enhance that says spend any number of momentum. This attack gets +3 speed for each momentum spent to pay this cost. Pretty good. And then response, after you play this card, seal 1 Rival Foundation. So this is after we play it as an attack, but it also, we can seal by playing it as a block. And that is something I didn't catch the first time I read this card. I thought, okay, you play it as an attack and you get to seal something, that's fine. Just turning off any selective foundation is good. But the fact that you can seal on block is also pretty good. And it, like, guarantees that Ensorcelled Slash is going to have throw, and any of your other abilities that we'll see here in a little bit get a little bit more powerful. Next we have Throat Slitter, easily becoming one of my favorite cards in this set, just from all the decks I want to throw it in. It's a 5/3, 5 mid for 5 with a 2 mid block, powerful 2 and weapon. Powerful 2 is just like EX3, but we spend our momentum as cost, and for each momentum we spend we get +2 damage instead of speed. And as it blitz, our rival discards 1 card. If this attack deals damage, our rival draws 1 card. So we automatically get rid of a card in their hand. And if they want to draw again, they simply let all of this damage through, or at the very least partial block it. But that also guarantees damage on the board. We're going to be putting a damage on this with Mollymauk and giving it stun. So if they don't want to take any more damage, they're going to have to full block it, but then they don't get to draw, and that's less cards in their hand. So this is such a cool card for an uncommon. I really, really like it. Next up is our ultra rare Hooligan's Mockery. This is a 5/2. Gotta be careful with that 2 check. 5 high for 5 with a 1 high block, breaker 1, taunt, and weapon. Glad to see more taunt cards coming through. And breaker just means if we block with this card, our rival's next check to play a card gets -X. X equals our breaker rating. And we have blitz. Lose 1 health. Seal 2 rival foundations. Period. Just we lose 1 health, you don't get to cancel this one. And this attack gets +1 damage for each sealed rival foundation. So it's good to maybe play Biting Dagger, guarantee seal something. Use Mollymauk maybe to try to seal 2 more things if they don't destroy something. And then we seal 2 more things with Hooligan's Mockery. That's +5 damage off of 2 attacks and them not destroying something to our to cancel Mollymauk. So that becomes a 5 high 10 really quick. My cat is once again trying to wrap himself up in my cords. Alright, you know what? You're just gonna sit there for a minute. There we go. So a very good card for him, especially if we're going to be trying to seal a bunch of stuff all over the place. Then the damage just absolutely overwhelms, especially if we can use this to follow up a Throat Slitter. Really cool. And then lastly we have Killing Intent, a 5 difficulty, 3 control, 4 low for 5 with a 1 low block. This is from the solo leveling starter deck, or challenger series I should say. It's 4 low for 5. It has stun 1, fury, and weapon, so it has its own instance of stun, and then we can give it another instance of stun. As a blitz, we can seal 1 rival foundation with a difficulty of 2 or less. So again, bit of guaranteed seal to make sure that our rival, obviously won't cancel this one, but we're just making sure that we're turning off all of our rival's abilities. And if I didn't go over it in the beginning, seal means that the card loses all of its abilities and cannot gain abilities. So very important. It's basically treating it like a flipped foundation or treating it like a face down card, but it just doesn't flip it. So that is our attack package. We're wanting to seal and stun all of our rival stuff, stun the stuff that they don't want to use, and seal the stuff that they do. So onto our non-attack cards, we have our assets, Dwethvar the Star Razor, a 2/5 with a 1 high block, unique vestige, and weapon. If our character is a champion, it gets -1 difficulty. We're not a champion. As an enhance, we can commit this to seal 1 rival foundation. Or as a response, we can commit this after we take 5 or more damage from an attack. Our rival has to play a non-attack card as their next form, or they end their turn. They may lose 6 health to cancel this ability. That's a pretty steep cost, but it ensures we had to take an attack. You have to take an attack's worth of damage in order to try to hit me again. Fair's fair. And since we are losing a lot of health for our own abilities, I added some soup, a 1/5 with a 1 mid block. As a static, after we play this card, we build it automatically, both as an asset if we build it on our turn, or if we block with it, we build it automatically. As an enhance, our attack gets +1 damage, and we gain a health. Which means, since it says our attack gets 1 damage, we can use this on our rival's attack. They don't get the damage, but we still get to gain the health, so that'll help buff us up a little bit. Onto our actions, we have Infiltrating Xhorhas, a 1/5 with a 2 mid block and the spell keyword. As an enhance, we seal 1 non-character card in each rival's stage, and then we may clear this card from our card pool, which we're not a mage that cares about spells, so we're probably going to clear it. But this can also hit assets and backups, which is really important. Because a lot of sealing is usually foundations or maybe attacks, so the ability to seal a rival asset that's giving us trouble, like a Cape of No Return, as our first enhance is going to really come in handy. And lastly, we have Showdown, a 3/4, 3 high block. As a response, after we block with this card, we commit 2 rival foundations, we get to choose. And then as a response, we can commit 2 of our foundations. After our rival plays an ability on an action, we can cancel it. I apologize for all the yawning I've been doing in these past few videos. I've been recording later at night just to try to get these done for you guys, and it's obviously wearing on me. Onto our foundations, we have Macabre Regeneration, a 2/5 with a 3 low block. Response commit, after we lose health to pay a cost, we gain 2 health. So if we lose one with Mollymauk, we basically go net positive 1 health, which is always nice. And it's a commit cost instead of a flip, so we can keep reusing it. Next we have Survival of the Fittest, a 2/5 with a 3 low block again. As a response, we commit 1 of our foundations. After a rival loses health, hey, we gain a health. This is great for cards like Stinging Blade and Ensorcelled Slash if we can give it throw, or cards like Throat Slitter if our rival wants to draw that card. They're going to allow us to gain more health. And then as a response, we commit it. After a rival backup loses stamina, 1 of our backups gains 2 stamina, but we're not playing any backups. And then I do love the Grog quote here. It's absolutely hilarious. Next we have Confidence, a 2/6 with a 3 high block, so this is something we would want to stack with Heavy Hammer Thump to the top of our deck. But as a response, after this card is revealed, our attack gets +1 speed or +1 damage. So if we reveal this during our rival's turn for Mollymauk, it's not gonna get any sort of speed or damage because it's only our attacks that get that. But we can give our attacks a little bit more stats by revealing these in our hand. Next we have Fade to Black, which is kind of cool. A 3/4 with a 2 mid block. As a response, we flip this card. After an attack is played, we seal 1 rival foundation. So again, just point, click, turn it off, not dealing with that for the rest of the turn. Excuse me. Then we have Unsavory Morsel, a 1/5 with a 2 mid block. It's got Thief Breaker 1, which we are not a thief, so we don't have access to that breaker. But as a flip cost and enhance, our rival commits 1 card in their stage with no abilities. So that includes sealed cards, not just face down foundations, but sealed cards as well. So if we seal an asset, they could have to commit it. If they have only sealed face up foundations, they have to commit 1 of them. So this is just a cool way to say, oh, it's stun without the stun. And it can really help us control our rival's board. But this is one of the reasons I wanted to build this character. Draw your swords, a 2/5 with a 3 low block, again, with the weapon keyword. As an enhance, we sacrifice 1 foundation. Our weapon attack gets +1 damage and gains stun 1. So for the cost of 1 foundation and 1 health, we give 2 damage and 2 instances of stun 2. That is a very good way to ensure that our attacks are going to deal damage to our rival and possibly fuel a kill turn. And as a deadlock enhance, our weapon attack gets +1 speed, so if our rival ever goes above 10 foundations, all of our attacks are getting +1 speed for free for each copy of Draw Your Swords, because this is not a unique foundation. Then we have Eaten by the Bearded Titan, a 2/5 with a 3 high block. It's an enhance that is tenacious, or playable while committed. We sacrifice this card, this attack gets -3 speed. It's just very good speed hate. We have Split Body Control, a 2/5 with a 3 low block. A lot of those in this deck now that I'm going through it. But response flip after our attack is blocked, we selectively flip a rival foundation. So the best way that the way that they stop our Mollymauk seal is they have to sacrifice a face-up foundation. If we're turning all their best foundations face down, or turning their worst foundations face down, so they have to sacrifice those best foundations. Again, just putting that pressure on our rival, making them really have to think about which resources they value most. Botan's coaching. One of the things that people decry from Mollymauk is you have to give up information to your rival. But who's to say you can't show them 2 cards and then Botan's coaching, discard one of them to draw another card, because this makes both players discard 1 card and draw 1 card. So, gives them information, takes some information away. Pretty simple. We have Syndicate Target, a 0/6 with a 0 low block. Just one of the best blocks in the game, but if we block with it, we lose a health. But that's usually better than, taking a walk the dog to the face. We have Embrace the Past, a 1/5 with a 3 low block. Hey, it's a 1/5 this time. As an enhance, if our rival has 2 or more sealed foundations, this attack gets +1 damage. So we seal at least 2 things, like maybe they don't destroy a card when we Mollymauk. That's free damage on all of our attacks for the rest of the turn. Next we have Icy Display, a 2/4 with a 2 high block, ranged and taunt. As a response, once per turn Tenacious, after a rival foundation is sealed, ready this foundation. It doesn't flip itself, it's just a once per turn ready, which is really solid for a character like this. And finally, Equipment Demonstration, a 3/5 with a 2 mid block. As an enhance, if our rival has 2 or more sealed foundations, we add this card to our momentum. We only have Biting Dagger and Throat Slitter, I believe, for momentum outs. I don't think we have any other momentum spending. Nope. No other momentum spending. So that's just if we know we're going to be, like, we Throat Slitter, discard the last card in our rival's hand, and we just want to fuel that powerful, we can absolutely do that. But also as a response, we can spend a momentum, so I guess it's its own momentum spending. After the start phase, seal 1 rival foundation. So this is both turns. At the start of the turn, we get to selectively seal 1 rival foundation by spending a momentum. So that's a great way to get off the starting block for cards like Ensorcelled Slash or Hooligan's Mockery and stuff like that. So that is Mollymauk Tealeaf. I dig him. I really like this guy. I think this dude is going to be fun to play, especially with the mind games of stage control, which is really cool. I love trying to force my rival to play extra games in their head to see what not only I'm trying to do, but what they need to do to stop me. So I love any kind of character that puts that extra mental drain on my rival, so that it almost becomes like a 2 against 1, because then you're not only trying to outplay me, but you're trying to outthink yourself in a way by trying to figure out how to keep your resources alive while also dealing with my onslaught. It's just really cool. I dig characters like this. And like I said, I think the symbol spread is really cool for this character, so it'll be interesting, especially with attunement, to see what different variances you can come up with from Mollymauk. But that's all I've got for this one, so take a short rest, and I'll see you in the next one. Safe travels.